Yo, yo, yo. Fuck you guys. How's it going? So, we have ideas. And we will throw them out. So, as the leader of the Adventurers Guild and a high member of society, Husai is very known and he knows a lot of people. And especially after setting up the entire branch of the Adventurers Guild, he also set up the Adventurers Guild Crafting Guild, because there's the Inner Crafting Guild and the Outer Crafting Guild. The Inner Crafting Guild is for people inside the tree, and that's for like goods, commodities, clothes, food, stuff like that. And then there's the outside, which is for the adventurers, which is like armor, weapons, accessories, jewelry, stuff like that. And it's all the idea of how like things are crafted is with a soul enchantment. Essentially, you enchant the magic of your soul onto the item, and then it carries with it the of your name. So, for instance, all of Husai's armor, because he's Husai Sudi, is of Sudi, because he's enchanted his soul onto his armor, and that gives it like the buff that the passive and the job of the character that does it, essentially. So we can have different like ancient types of ones that were used with like technology instead of magic, which are like super insanely powerful, like relic, and because they have an attribute added to them that's like the idea of a relic in Final Fantasy 11, like a weapon relic that gives you like an extra weapon skill. It's like all the relic armors and stuff like that are like super intense, like literal like mech body armor essentially type of stuff, because it's enchanted with a technological component instead of a magical component, and then you can enchant the magical component on top of that. So you can get some pretty awesome stuff near the end. So we'll have to go through an entire side of like introducing the crafting guild and stuff like that. So I figured this would be a perfect time to gather together like 3 or 4 of the highest like meaningful people outside of the monarchy, i.e. the monarch and the viceroy. So that'd be the leader of the Adventurers Guild, which is Husai, and the librarian, who basically catalogs and archives all of like the information that has to do with, well, I guess the head librarian, because there's multiple of them. It's like massive fucking library of knowledge at the Adventurers Guild. And that's like there's the inner library and outer library as well, ones that like tell you everything about the tree and the history of the tree, at least is what's known, or what the monarch wants you to know, supposedly. And from there, the outer one is all about the Adventurers Guild. Like, it has the bestiary of all the monsters that are like in the world, the different types of beastmen, like beastmen traditions, and like stuff like that. They're like how their government system is set up, or at least from like how we understand it from this side, how everything works. Catalog of lost creatures and stuff like that, I guess you could say, like dragons, for instance, because dragons are thought to be a myth, because they haven't been seen in hundreds of years. And before that, they were pretty prevalent, so everyone just thinks that it was something else, or they made it up, or I don't know. But it's something that they can't exactly, like, they don't know why it's so heavily mentioned in history, but they clearly don't exist. No one's seen one. And like 2 others, maybe one to do with like master of transportation kind of thing. He's the guy who makes sure that all of, because like inside the tree, basically how it works is it's like a trolley system on the roof, essentially. But it's like, because everything's so big, it's like you could fit like 100 lanes across kind of idea. So there's always like people going back and forth. So it's like you have people that are like basically using magic to uh, control these things to make sure, you know, like traffic accidents don't happen and shit like that kind of stuff. So you just have like things whizzing over your head and stuff like that. But since there'll be different levels as well, so there'll be I mean, I don't know if I want to do transporters. Or I mean, do like from one branch to another. Like, I don't know. There's lots of things I could do for the transportation. Like, you could be like pulled into the wall kind of idea, or into the floor, and then it just kind of like shoots you to the location that you want to go to. So maybe not so much that, but what else? Like overseers for things, because I'm thinking like, how does the government essentially work? Because it does have to have like the bureaucracy side specifically for the Adventurers Guild, but also for being able to do logistics and stuff like that. Like, where's the food coming from? How much food do we have? What's the citizens' population? So it's like those parts of the government are going to need to be expressed in some way. But since he has to do with the Adventurers Guild, they're all going to be connected to the Crafting Guild. So we'll have um, do, do, do. We'll have no, we just want this. One more. Crafty Master, the Archive Master. Yeah, because one does logistics. So this is like logistics, and this is like history information, like information about the different elements and how weapon skills and magic bursts work, how the essentials of magic work. So put all three of those together, and you have, or I guess all four of them, because he's the leader. So essentially, these are the second in commands because they take care of the logistics of it, so he can focus on actual like planning and expansion, like for the cities and stuff like that, making sure all the cities are stocked and ready to go, make sure, you know, taking on new adventurers, ranking up adventurers, setting I'm thinking like quests. For something like that. With the quest board master. Yeah. Let's do quest master. And then he's like the rank master because he's the master of the guild. So whenever there's a rank up, he's involved in it. But basic quests and stuff like that go to the quest master. I think that's good. Son leaves Venture Guild heading crafting branch. And since literally the city is a tree, each area is essentially a branch of the tree. So the Adventurers Guild is its own actual branch with other tiny branches coming off of it. And then the trunk is the essentially residential area. And there's like storage and stuff like that in one branch. You know, one branch is for governing, one branch is for crafting. So like stores and shops and stuff like that. Then there's like, again, the outer and the inner, which actually be like the upper and the lower. The upper is for the tree, the lower is for outside the tree in the Adventurers Guild. Because adventurers are the only ones that leave the tree. I'm trying to think if maybe he has, like, the Master Crafter has something prepared for him. Some, like, new set of ceremonial armor or something like that. Maybe he was saving an enchant. Or something like that. And he needed, I don't know, a gem or something like that, maybe. Some sort of lost piece of technology. Because he's going to start off with like some badass shit, but as they go through and they see the stuff that the Beastmen army has when the Beastmen army comes to attack Garuda, they're going to have like insane weapons, like literally like tanks, fucking airplanes, helicopters, and shit like that. And everyone's like, what the fuck is, how'd the Beastmen get this shit? And then knowing that the dragons are backing them is like puts them in this place where they have to then go back to the library to go, okay, what the fuck, now we know the dragons exist, so we have to figure out, like, go back and take all this information that we thought was myth and actually put it to the test. And with it, they find that, like, dragons are like an ancient species. Like, they're the original land-air species, top of the food chain. They've been around forever, and they're extremely intelligent. And they know, like, the technological ways of the past, kind of idea. So it's like, even after, like, the moon falls out of the sky and creates the single continent, and, the tree starts growing, dragons were there the entire time. So they still carried on the technology afterwards. And they used it in order to strengthen the Beastmen, because they were always fighting to get inside the tree and take out the monarch, because they knew the truth. But everyone thought them as evil because everyone thinks that the monarch is a good guy. So, like, why would you ever want to attack them? And it's like, well, they're just foul beasts. And then at some point in time, it's like, before the Adventurers Guild was established, it's like the fierce attacks and everything, and the dragons just, like, left. It's like they'd just given up after this period of time of consistently assaulting the tree and being like, well, you know what? We fucking tried, guys. We did this for like 800 years. We didn't get anywhere. So, yeah, we're just gonna go back into hiding, kind of idea. But actually what they were doing was they were preparing. Because they're like, okay, this isn't working. We gotta go back to the roots. Let's get some beastmen, let's get some technology, and let's blow the shit out of these guys. And by that time, the Adventurer Guild had been established, and that brought people outside of the tree. So it's like now the beastmen had been pushed back, so they had to go even further into hiding, and they couldn't unleash their wrath on the tree. So now they're going to unleash it on the cities, which are way, way more vulnerable. So they're very excited for that. We'll figure that out later. But there are things that are created by the dragons that have been found in the world that have been after the moon has fallen out of the sky. So they're not quite 1,000 years old yet. And those were created by the dragons. They'd be like little pieces and like leftover bits from like laboratories and stuff like that, run by goblins. Because goblins are also very technological, because they were the ones that were the slaves to the octopi when they first came out of the sea and created the technological world with the monarch. In a very, very different, because he was a dictator and just like harsh ruler, and used his powers to literally instill fear and then control people. And slowly over time it developed into the monarchy. There's gonna be some sort of like fake civil war to like try and like make it so it looks like the guy's dead, and then the monarch comes in and is like this benevolent ruler who's just makes everyone's lives better, literally completely redirects how everything works, and everyone's like, alright, cool. And then that's just a progression of 600 to 800 years. And then, well, no, it'd be 900 to 1,000 years, something like that, after the moon falls out of the sky. Because the moon falls out of the sky, all the races are kind of devastated. They're just inside the tree as the tree's growing, and they increase their population over that 800 years or so. Because all the population at that point in time is inside the dome, underneath the gravitic weapon. So that's where the base root of the tree is, and that's kind of where after they kind of figure things out, Husai understands what the place is that he's going to, which he is like the soulscape that he'll go to in chapter 3 to basically visit his ancestors, to ask them questions and stuff like that. And it's like, this is just one thing that he knows, because he knows that he's special, and this is because this particular route connects to the dome, and all the information in there is basically available to Gaia. So that's where he basically it's like a holodeck kind of idea, and he just, you know, and then eventually it'll be like, yeah, it's not actually a thing, and it's like the state of consciousness that allows magic to exist is like celestial being level consciousness. And since the moon fell out of the sky, it was like its consciousness basically leaked out, and the crystallization of that created the tree, and the pervasive like after effect is magic. And that's where the world turns from a technological world to a magical world. And then they come out through the roots into the tree. So first they're underground above the dome in the roots as the roots are growing into it. And then they slowly, over time, as the tree is growing, move up and new branches grow out of it in order to sustain them. No one ever asks why. The monarch can actually control the growth of the tree, and creating like a new branch and something like that is basically what Husai does. Like in one of the side quests, it'll be like him. I don't know if that'll be the first one or the second one. I think it'll be the second one, because the first one will be him meeting Gluttony for the first time, and going into the cave system that will be in chapter 4 or chapter 5. Because chapter 4 will be going to Ifrit, chapter 5 will be going to the cave and discovering like the remnants of the technology and being like, hey, there's something wrong here, and going to the end of the cave and being like, hey, this shouldn't be here kind of idea. Going through the cave and then realizing there's an army in there, and then they go to Garuda because they find out Garuda is being attacked, and they're like, okay, yeah. And then they pull in adventurers and they attack them on the two fronts. And that'll be like chapter 6, 7, 8 or so, be the Battle of Garuda. But somewhere along there. No, this is the moment when he gives the sphere. So where's the crafting branch? Sid. Crafting master. Because you gotta have a Sid in a Final Fantasy book. Sid. Into the calm sphere. Video tampered with. Trying to think of like, should they meet the other, like, I guess the library master and the archive master can be together in the archives. And then after giving the sphere to Sid, telling Sid not to say anything about it, of course. They go to the archives. Sid, proceed to the archive. Library master / archive master. This is where Husai's gonna basically go over. Do you guys remember, like, way back. So they're not going to discuss current politics. They're going to discuss the video. Let's move this here. Meet with Sid. Archons gather to discuss inauguration. So start saying, yeah, let's just go with this. Tells them content to the video and asks Sid. Yeah, I guess we asked them, and they can do it all together. Tampered with and can Sid come sphere. Discuss the inauguration. He's got to first be like, hey guys, remember, like, you know, like 50 years ago we did our presentation for the Monarch about the Adventurers Guild and creating the, or like, you know, me becoming the master of the Adventurers Guild. Guys, remember that? We were all there. We knew how long it took. And we were all together after that pretty much 24/7, right? No extended periods of absence, essentially. And then he shows them the sphere, and they're like, okay, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, it couldn't have been me, man. You guys are my alibi. We just went over this shit. Like, there's no way that's me. Like, what the fuck? What do we do? I gotta see if this thing's borked or something like that. Then he tells them about the contents of the video and asks them to check if it's been tampered with. Because he's like, somebody did something or something, because that ain't me, man, and you guys know that. Because we literally saw them off to the dungeon, and then we left. So it's like, all of that time, there's no way I could have had a long enough absence in order for me to have made it to where the 100-year quest is, where the dungeon is. Something like that. Reminds him of the day he became the guildmaster, perhaps an alibi for him in the video. Still thinking about how the transportation system will work. I know I want it to work, but I don't know if that's going to be viable. I guess it'd be the top of the tree. And this is another part where it's like one of the unrests that's going on in the tree is these, like, well, they're earthquakes, but they're more like tree quakes. And even in the city of Ifrit, that's at the base of the tree, it doesn't feel these. So it's not coming from the ground, it's coming from the tree itself. And people are suspecting that it's either something to do with, like, overpopulation and the tree is getting too heavy and it's, like, about to topple itself or something like that. Because it's only been happening within, like, the last 50, 100 years, which is when they added, of course, the crafting and the Adventurers Guild branches. So they're like, hey, is there, possibility that the tree's off balance or something like that? And well, the main reason for that is that the dome underneath the tree that the roots are connected to is starting to deteriorate. So it's kind of losing its base, its foundation. And at some point in time, of course, they'll go down to the roots and into, like, the ancient city and find all the laboratories and everything like that. How, like, all the other races, the insect race and the avian race were created, like, through genetic manipulation in order to basically instill consciousness into at least a higher level of consciousness, to the point where they could communicate and live in a society. So I'm thinking one of the main points of the speech is going to be, like, addressing concerns, because Susai knows that, like, people are somewhat not happy about the Adventurers Guild and, like, leaving the tree and antagonizing the Beastmen, and there's just a lot of stuff that's, like, all backlog lore that's gonna be hinted at, but I don't know how far down that rabbit hole it's gonna go, because my biggest problem is spreading out the information drops, because there's so much information that just needs to be basically thrown at the reader. But I need to do it in a way that makes it's not, like, overwhelming, and it's actually interesting, and it's spaced out enough that it's not just this consistent lore backdrop. It's, like, sprinkled in enough that it makes a multi-dimensional depth of field, basically, that allows to look at it from different different character perspectives, different angles and stuff like that, to give you a different feel for it. Even though the whole story is going to be in first person from the main character, all the side quests at the back of the book are going to be from third person. So that's where you're going to get, if you want to read the side quests. You don't have to. but that's where all the extra lore and everything. So it'll be a bare bones, and then when you finish the chapter, there'll be a short story attached to that chapter that you can basically go and read. It's literally like a side quest. I'm trying to think of just what to call it. I'm also thinking of, like, there's only one way to leave the tree, and that's via what's called a fallen leaf. And at the top of the tree, the branches at the top of the tree have leaves on them, and those leaves can fall onto the ground and be reabsorbed into the roots, essentially. Or they can be used for other things, like construction. Like, most of the cities are made from modified leaves of crystal. So it's like you can tell the complete difference between old, ornate cement and, like, metal buildings of the technological past, and, like, the structures of the modern day, which use pieces of the crystalline tree in order to basically have, like, the best possible types of like buildings and stuff. You know, fully resistant to the elements, because they're, like, all of the cities are in, like, the extreme biomes. You know, Ifrit's in the volcano at the roots of the tree. The Titan is in the middle of a desert. Garuda is actually the only one that's not a crystal city. It's actually a fallen sky city that was repurposed. So it's like half sky city, half crystal buildings. And that'll be like the first battleground, because that's where the Beastman army is going to be attacking, because that's like the front line before getting to Ifrit. It'll be like Ifrit in the middle, and then Garuda's here. So it's like you take out Garuda, and then you have all the plains surrounding the volcano in order to assault the tree. And since they've been planning this for like hundreds of years, they're totally prepared to destroy the city. And they also know the technology to operate the Sky City, or to make the Sky City operational. So that's going to be one of the things. And the downfall of Garuda is they actually, like, turn on the Sky City. And this causes all the other Sky Cities to turn on. So that's where the 100-year quest dungeon actually becomes airborne, takes off, and they all go do their, like, because they're supposed to be essentially, like, floating bases of, like, one's an observatory satellite, one's a, you know, commercial luxury building or complex. That's what Garuda is. So it's made for, like, residential and other things, like, you know, shopping, that. So it's like it's the major, like, trade hub outside of the tree. Like, Ifrit's, like, close enough to the tree that it's like they share information. So it's like information goes from Garuda to Ifrit to the tree, but Garuda is the main trading hub. So got a lot of people there. So that battle's gonna be fucking intense. I don't know what to call it. Like, I guess we call it a palace. It's literally like at the top where all the branches go out to create the leaves and everything. It's wound into like a towering palace. Um, Duration. Ceremony begins. Monarch makes a speech. Some. For the speech, since the viceroy is technically older and he's the master of the monarch, at least that's like the idea that the teacher's the older one, but the monarch still has all the power and everything. But the viceroy is the one that's there to, like, control him and stuff like that. And the whole political side, again, is like only like for social status. Octopi, of course, are like the top class race because only female octopi have any like political power. You can be voted in essentially to be the concubine of the monarch and the viceroy. So, and they have like basically full reign of political and governmental control to keep the people happy, because that's kind of the whole idea. Benevolent monarch. So he's making a speech about the unrest, about people's concerns over the tree quakes, concerns about the Adventurers Guild. And then he brings up Husai, and then Husai makes a speech, and Husai's speech is basically, being like, despite being inside the tree and outside the tree, they still face hardships, Maybe different. People outside choose to go outside, though. So, if anyone ever wants to leave, that's totally their choice. And the people that don't want to leave can stay and do whatever the hell they want. The Adventurers Guild's all about figuring out the past, figuring out who we are, where we came from, kind of thing. Going back to the roots, Here in the tree, essentially, there's not really, like, the biggest hardships are social hardships. Like, you can't get along with people. The avian and the insect race are, like, definitely on a lower tier level than the octopi. So, kind of sucks that that's the way that it is, but considering how the governmental system works with the monarch, in order to keep, peace among people and stuff like that, there has to be a system in place, just like there is in the outside world, for instance, for measuring if you even have the capability to leave the tree, because it is a dangerous place outside the tree. And, you know, training to become an adventurer is not an easy thing. So, there are plenty of people that want to be adventurers, but they just don't have the ability. So they're kind of stuck inside the tree. So they're going to create another branch of, like, the, you know, like this sympathetic towards the adventurer. So they're like on the adventurer side, because they're like, we want to be these kind of people, so we'll represent them in any way we can inside the tree in a social sphere, essentially. So they make up like the bureaucracy that allows the Adventurers Guild to run. So even people that want to be adventurers and can't be adventurers can have like the knowledge and experience. And, you know, they get to be a part of it by documenting everything and stuff like that. Doing research and everything. So having these kind of two sides, having this friction inside of the tree doesn't give, you know, doesn't make life exactly that easy. Especially with, like, the amount of adventurers that are octopi versus insect and avian is like 50 to like 30 and 20. And that's due to like a cultural thing where the avian and insectoids feel oppressed, so they don't want to have anything to do with the higher up bureaucracy, and the only way to get out of the tree is to go through basically the monarch and the guildmaster. But at the end of the day, the monarch has the final say on it. And he has like a test, basically. It's like, if you can do like 1 damage to me, then, you know, you can go. But if you can't do anything, then, you know, come back next time. And he holds all these kinds of things. But there's, like, not that many people that really want to be. Like, of the population, like, 5% want to be adventurers. And of that 5%, only 1% actually become adventurers. So there's only, like, 700 or 800 adventurers. Other than like supply chain stuff, I guess you'd say. Like there's like the adventurers that are on the crafting side, so they do, like, they deal with the crafting guild. And then there's the adventurers that are like frontliners, essentially. And they're the ones that are like the explorers that go out and find things for the crafters. And then, of course, the Viceroy will make a speech. Oh, whoops. And the Viceroy steps down and introduces the new Viceroy. Say that. The Viceroy's speech is going to be about how he served his term. He's going to talk about the things that he changed, you know, positive light, being like, I taught my son, he's been along me the entire side, you know, you all know him. Now it's his time to shine. So, you know, here he is. And then the new Viceroy makes a speech. And Viceroy actors stepping down. And this is like one of the weird parts, because it's like, at this point in time, the Viceroy is in his, like, evil persona. But something triggers in him now that he no longer has the responsibility of being the Viceroy, now that he's free. His partitioned good personality has the opportunity to take over and not have to deal with those types of obligations, so he is free. So, for the first time seeing Husai, it, like, triggers, like, he has, like, these flashes of, like, what Husai actually is. Because Husai is a human, but humans don't exist, but it's, like, this huge thing. Influence from Gaia, because he's basically a hybrid golem. But due to influence of magic, everyone sees him as an octopi, even though he doesn't see himself as an octopi. So he knows he's very special, and there's something, you know, fucked up going on there. But as soon as the Viceroy sees him, he kind of has these flashes of, like, what? And this is the first time you kind of get this feeling of why, like, people treat Husai the way that they do. You're like, okay, there's something special about this guy. People, like, act really, like, kind of odd towards him compared to how they act towards, like, each other, just in the way that the language that they use. And that's because he's not an octopi. So, like, for instance, for them, like, putting his elbows up on the desk, it's like, well, octopi don't have elbows. So how do you put your elbows up if you don't have elbows? So it's just kind of this interesting language that goes along with Husai that doesn't go along with other characters. And this is the first, like, real taste where you're like, okay, there's something odd about this guy. He is not quite what he seems. Flash of so it could human for a moment. Viceroy, good personality comes out. Husai and Viceroy converse about the state of the Adventurers Guild and the monarchy. So this chapter is basically like a bunch of conversations and stuff like that, so you get a little feel for some of the characters and stuff like that. What are their jobs? What do they do? How do the people feel? And, you know, this transition of power from Viceroy to Viceroy. And this odd turn of events with how, well, You won't notice it at first because it'll feel like now that he's stepped down, he's not as formal. So his speech is going to be a little bit different. But you're going to, like, kind of expect that because it's like, oh, hey, man, he's no longer the leader, you know. He's talking casually now to, you know, someone who's of, like, a super high class but not quite, you know, monarch level. So it's like, you know, talking like gold best friends kind of idea. But I don't know if he's going to hint at anything, or if this is just going to be like, he's like, well, now that I'm free, I want to join the Adventurers Guild. So yeah, he's going to be like Viceroy. States he's going to join the Adventurers Guild to see the world for himself. Hell yeah. And that'll kind of be like the cliffhanger at the end of chapter 2. And then for chapter 3, that will be them leaving the tree and going to Ifrit, meeting Gluttony, and beginning to gather all of the leaders of the towns, the cities outside of the tree. Because each one of them is a former member of Husai's party. Each of them settled down as a leader of each of the cities. And at first they'll get Ifrit, which is Gluttony. Then they'll go through the caves. They'll find out about the assault on Garuda. And then they're going to go back to Ifrit, send word to Sid to go to Titan to basically grab backup. And he's going to come back with airships and shit. And that's going to be like kind of a turn of the tide. Even though they lose the battle, they escape via the airships. So it's like it's not that much of a disaster, except now they're on the front line of this Beastman army ready to take on Ifrit. But they evacuate Ifrit and do like a last stand kind of idea there. And then the Beastmen start assaulting the tree again with the dragon. And they leave to go back to Titan to grab the leader of Titan. And they'll have like 4 people in the party. So it'll be the Viceroy, Husai, Gluttony, leader of Garuda, and then the leader of Titan. I think that is good. And then kind of flows 1 into 2. Because this, I'm talking about the Calm Pearl, will come up like basically at the very beginning of the chapter and then fade out. And we'll come back around to that later. I don't think there's any discrepancies in here, because that's kind of what we're trying to flesh out. is any kind of continuity errors that come up. Because one of the biggest problems is having to continuously rewrite because of basically loopholes. But I think that's good for that. So what we can do now is close. Oh, whoops. Don't save. This. And this. Of course. Okay. Alright, so we're going to be doing some barding now. We got chapter 2 all sorted out. Hopefully we can get a party pretty fast. We don't need to do that. We just need to do this. I need to make birdhouses. Let's make some birdhouses first. Mix some of these guys. Hopefully we got a party pretty quickly. Do a little bit of meriting. Get the rest of our warrior merits. Still debating whether I need to join friends and do H&Ms or not. Like, I kind of want to, but I'm like, if I'm gonna be playing Path of Exile 2, I ain't gonna be playing this. So it's like, I don't want to just like get in for a month and then leave again, because it's like every time that's what happens. It's like, I was going for the O Club, and then I quit for like 3 months, and then I came back, I got the O Club, and then I was like, alright, I'm not quitting anymore. And then Reverence broke, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not really interested in it now. And then I left. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother. Let's go, Merit. Where'd this guy at? Missouri. There we go, just like that. Oh, we are back to barding. Ooh, damn, and of course now someone's like Garlich Citadel Gate Breach. Shit. I need that. Of all the times I didn't notice, or I would have fucking done that. I need to get Sleepka too. But it doesn't really matter. I'll find another opportunity. Going to Missouri? Alright. We're gonna get to some barding. Everyone loves a good bard stream. Yeah, I can accept that. Slash Dragoon, just like Slash Sam, is fun, but Slash War tends to be better. I mean, I found that out firsthand. My Warrior definitely out DPS's my Dark Knight with O Club. because of Berserk and Aggressor. And it has a higher club skill, and it has a higher axe skill. But Dark Knight club is for a specific zerging purpose. So, Warrior doesn't beat that for a zerg. Uh-oh. What am I missing? What? What am I missing? What the fuck? I didn't change anything. What don't I have on here? Wait, do these give me HP? No? What the fuck? I'm so confused. Okay. Okay, now it does it. Why didn't it do it before? I'm like, where did that 20 HP go? Was that on a ring? Maybe? I don't know. Okay. Either way, that works. I don't have a ranger in the party now, because last time we were doing... Epoch. Gotta love it. Got a dragoon with a Matt's cap. Gotta love it when I'm the most gimp in the party. Because I don't have a shot ear Manteal. Sad face, no shot ear. While we wait, we need to grab more. I don't think we really need it. Okay, we got 60 of those. That's a lot. Still waiting for that guy. I know what else we can do. No, we're not doing that. But hey, we're slowly working it in, right? We'll flesh it out as we go, and then we can go back and, you know, reevaluate again. Because this is our third evaluation. And things have already changed pretty significantly since I decided to add that extra little tidbit on top. Damn, man. Getting a lot of freaking cacti. That's crazy. Okay, let's fold this up. Get rid of that. Here.
About how condescending we are coming off to a huge part of the electorate. You want to know what's really funny is I bet this guy probably got a huge amount of hate for that comment. Because he's completely right. If you condescend to people and you talk down to them and you just act like they're bad, they're going to act like they don't like you. It's a big surprise, right? I mean, what are we even talking about? Obviously, that's what happened.
To be clear, I'm not saying we have to change anything. I'm just wondering why men aren't voting for us. What? I am gonna regret posting this so hard. And oh boy did he. The replies were insane, to say.
What a surprise. What a surprise. Wow. Ooh. Who could have guessed?
The least. I must admit, I cringed reading most of this. I feel that one thing you didn't address is the systemic entitlement bestowed upon white men in the US. That sense of entitlement, that privilege they felt for eternity, is eroding.
What privilege is that? Like, if you go and you talk to a 21-year-old white guy now, what privilege are they actively enjoying? Where is it? I don't know. Where is it? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Systemic entitlement they have felt for eternity. They're like 22 years old. The f do you mean eternity? Who is this like?
Yeah, exactly. And again, if you look at the comment here, this is an older woman. Yeah. I'm sure that when you were growing up, things were worse. And that's bad. But if you take that and you fucking displace that trauma onto some new person, you can guarantee that they're going to be bad again.
Like 200-year-old man. So young men are snowflakes with hurt fifis because they're not the center of attention anymore. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. All right, let's fucking do this.
Yep. And Trump and Vance and Joe Rogan make them the center of attention, and then they win the elections. What a fucking surprise. Wow. Who could have guessed? It's a shock!
So are they poor little snowflakes, boo-hoo, or are they scary fascists that are gonna turn America into the Handmaid's Tale? Because they can't be both. You either care about the future, or you don't. You cannot simultaneously hand-wave away men moving to fascism, but also fearmonger about it. Hi, man here. Maybe men just need to stop being absolute pieces of dog shit. It seems like the easiest thing to do.
This is just, man. Do you know what's the most sad about this? It's like these self-hating men that do this, and I personally think that the only reason guys make posts like this is to virtue signal to have girls think that they're good people. Like, they're basically trying to sell themselves out in order to, like, have girls like them. Beta cucks? Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, sure. They do it to attract good girls? Yeah, exactly.
Do, right? I don't feel alienated or uncomfortable with democratic messaging because I'm not a complete wannabe fascist cheese dick incel loser who thinks he's the good guy.
To be fair, okay, oh shit, my dad's calling me. Hello? Hey, what's up? Well, alright, I'm gonna put you on speaker. Go ahead.
Okay, I said before, what the issue is, what I said before was this whole shit, all this shit about men, basically talking shit about guys who are more masculine, to use kind of in quotes there, guys who go to the gym, guys who go fishing, hunting, do things that guys do, rather than playing pickleball or something. I say, the femboys of their time back in the 60s. And they couldn't get laid, and they see all their competition gets or a bunch of it gets drafted off or joins the army or whatever, Marines or whatever, and there they are. All they gotta do is look like girls. They grow their hair long, and they suck up to the girls, and guess who gets laid? There's still, I mean, you go back by any biker bar, you go anywhere, you're gonna see a bunch of chicks there, and they're out of them. There's going to be the porkers, and there's going to be regular ones and average ones, and there's going to be a bunch of damn good ones there, too. Just as many as are up at the Galleria Mall.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Separate-wise.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
all dates
True.
back to, I hate to admit it, my fucking boomer generation of girly men. And had never had any respect for those fuckers. And, when I took any shit from them, they found out how much.
All right. Okay.
I'll
Okay. I'll give you a call later.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye. Yep. There it is. There it fucking is. I totally agree, by the way. And guys now are doing the exact same thing. The way that they make women happy is by being subservient. They can't meet women's needs in other ways, so the only way they can is by being obedient and subservient.
Reddit and its consequences have been a disaster for the male race. They just need to get off their asses, stop playing video games, and get real jobs. First,
Fair, probably true in a lot of cases.
First of all, what real jobs?
Yeah.
These guys are coming out of college with useless diplomas, and there are no jobs. Also,
Well, the real jobs that are out there have initiatives to have women get hired over them. So it's like, yeah, go get a real job, and then, by the way, it's rigged against you. Yeah, there's some, like, DEI initiative that puts you at the back of the line.
touch boomer-ass take. Get off your ass and stop playing those video games from the generation who watches TV 24/7. I don't want to hear it. Tell them to get therapy. Tell them whatever you told or gave to women in the 1950s. They made this...
Yeah, and there it is. Why the fuck would a guy that's born in the year 2001 give a fuck what happened in 1950? Why would he ever do... Like, it's just... They're looking for revenge, not equality. They are. That's exactly right. Why would anybody give a fuck?
Bed. Let them sleep alone in it. Or be better men. Any other group of people and it's, oh, boo-hoo, poor baby.
Well, this is the problem, is that, like, any time that there's a male issue, it's about how males should fix the issue. Every time that there's any issue about any other group, it's about how... Well, it's also about how males should fix the issue, too. That's what happens. I see it all the time.
We rewire all of society so your feelings aren't hurt. And then with men, it's get therapy. Be better. While there is truth in messaging needs to be better from
And it's like, and this is also coming from the women that are, like, turning on their cell phone and recording a video for TikTok while they're screaming because Kamala Harris lost. And this is, like, after they've pulled their hair out and they've been bed rotting for 4 hours. It's like, this is the person that's telling you be better. Some, like, psycho with 3 different colors of blue in their hair with a septum ring that lives at her mom's house at, you know, I was gonna say level 34, age 34. Like, what are we talking about? That's on, like, 3 different antidepressants, you know, screaming at you for you to be better. sorry about that.
Democrats as a whole, I reject that telling young men they need to be better is the problem. They are trash in their nature, and if they can't do the work to not be toxic waste of seed, that's on them.
Well, you can keep telling people that, but it doesn't make them want to vote. Yeah, big surprise. Telling people that they're trash in their nature is a very bad thing to get them to agree with you. Yeah, it really just doesn't work. And it's really funny for me to see this because it seems like they still haven't learned. It's amazing. Isn't it basically misogynistic but against men? It's misandrous, that's the term. And it is. It literally is. It's actually just that simple.
Vote for my team, by the way. We may not want to hear it, but this is what the data reflects. There is a massive loneliness epidemic in this country which is disproportionately affecting men. Instead of calling them incels or mocking them, we should be willing to hear out their concerns. Wow.
True. Very true. And by the way, if you don't hear out their concerns, that's totally fine. They'll find somebody else that does. And then once there's enough of them, they control all the branches of government, and then they take away abortion. Surprise! Haha! Gotcha, bitch!
Oh, a surprisingly good
That's
tweet
what
in a
happens.
sea of bullshit.
What do you expect?
Nice to see. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming you're a straight white man, so yeah, go do something about it. Why are you guys bothering the rest of us with this? I can't figure it out.
Rest of us? Isn't it a white guy? I mean, I feel like it's a white guy.
I would like for Democrats to win the election. Why do you care about men suffering? Because they want
Yeah, you want to win, obviously.
to win the election. Amazing. This is the issue right here. Start seeing men as people, not numbers and polls. That is step one. You can't even do step one. Anyway, there were thousands of these kind of tweets in response to this guy.
Oh, now after the election has been over, every single time that I look at Twitter, it's like some person who's mad about the election talking about how they're going to do something bad to a person who has a different political opinion than them. And I want to say, like, if you want to do that, go ahead and do it. But don't be surprised when it happens back to you. And it will.
Get it? We've seen it all before. If I went through all of them, this video would be 3 hours long. White Dudes for Harris wasn't the only strange attempt the Democrats threw out at the last second to get the male vote.
Hey, white dudes. So, I think we're all pretty sick of hearing how much we suck. Every time you go online, it's the same story. We're the problem. And yeah, some white dudes are. Trump and all his MAGA buddies are out there making it worse.
They thought this was gonna work. Be one of the good ones. Man, I remember when Republicans tried to do that for black people for a long time. That worked really well, didn't it? Didn't that work really well? Oh.
Are you f***ing kidding me? Years of these people saying men suck and are the problem, and now they're like, hey fellow men, are you sick of being told you suck and are the problem? The audacity. Apparently, Kamala Harris has a secret weapon to win over male voters.
Kamala Harris is turning to her running mate, Tim Walz, hoping he is the secret weapon who can chip away at Donald Trump's support from men.
Much like how Trump chose Pence to win over the more establishment Republican voters, Kamala seems to have chosen Tim Walz to try and win over the white male vote. And boy, are they trying. Now, I don't hate Tim.
I think Tim Walz is definitely more likable than Kamala Harris, but that bar is on the floor and you need the shovel to go under it. I think that he's definitely more likable for sure, but it's just, yeah, he's their token white guy. Yeah, exactly.
Walz. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised when they chose him over Josh Shapiro. I like a lot of his policies, like his universal school lunch policy. That's an amazing policy. You'd have to be an insane freak to disagree with that.
It was very well received.
Or a libertarian. But I repeat myself. And there were a few times where he was speaking where I completely forgot he was running to be Kamala's VP and not president himself. And he actually brought a lot of energy to the Democratic stage for once.
He did.
So what the was this? Putting out a bunch of ads of Tim Walz changing the air filter in a car, clumsily shooting a gun, and drawing a political football play-by-play. Trotting out Walz like some kind of minstrel show of a white man.
I didn't say it, she said it. Okay? Yep, I did. Hey. Yep. But everybody was thinking that. Yep.
Like a man dressing up like a man for Halloween. You don't gotta do all this, bro, I promise you. And they don't shy away about how that's exactly what they are trying to do. Tim Walz is clearly a Midwest man's man, but he's the antidote to toxic MAGA masculinity.
Oh god.
Despite his typically masculine resume as a Midwestern football coach and veteran, Walz is utilizing those qualities to push forward a more progressive, compassion-based form of masculinity.
I feel like in a lot of cases, like this is like kind of true, but it just comes off as so performative and fake that I don't think that people buy into it. Like, for example, I think if Tim Walz was running by himself, like there's a reason, like he's the governor, right? Like, so he's won an election before. So it's not like this guy isn't popular. But if you contextualize it around like the, you know, like National Democratic Party, then you have a totally different situation.
Being a vice president is understanding that you are just that. Someone who is there to aid and support the president. Walz simply being there on the ticket with a woman and taking a back seat to his running mate, Vice President Kamala Harris, is him embracing his leadership role in a positive, masculine way. Football coach and
it's positively masculine whenever you take a back seat to a woman. Like, I don't really understand, like, how... Like, I mean, how do you expect to, like, tell that to somebody and then have them be like, yeah, this sounds great, you know, like, this, come sign me up. It's so condescending. It is. It's crazy.
Cheerleader. How Tim Walz is defining masculinity. Amy Deal, a sexism researcher and author of the 2023 book Glass Walls,
called a bullshit
told
job.
USA Today that men like Walz who are intentional about rejecting traits and beliefs commonly dubbed as toxic masculinity are the tonic to harmful stigma associated with expectations of men and boys.
The thing is that a lot of this is actually true, which is kind of funny. Like, for example, like, what is my best example of masculinity? Well, it would be Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, so it's like, it's definitely not Andrew Tate or one of these other, like, alpha males, right? Absolutely not. So, like, a lot of this is true. It just comes off as performative and fake.
Boys. He shows you can be masculine, but also not threatened by women as equals or women who are in positions of power. In fact, you can be cheerleaders for them. Notice the common theme here. Taking a back seat. Cheerleading. Like 5 different articles I read specifically use this word cheerleading. Even a few about
it's taking a back seat, doing what you're told to do. Hello? Hey. Yeah. Okay. Alright. My dad, guys. It's also my dad. I was talking about movies, but yeah, I'm also referring to my dad as well. Was that good? As a masculine model. Uh-huh. Okay, good. I'll talk to you later. Okay, thanks. All right, bye. Bye. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. Right.
Kamala Harris's husband, Doug. God knows we need an antidote for all the lousy men in the news, and I think I found one. A lovable goofball who is happy to...
I just, like, can you think about how bad it would sound if, like, God knows we need an antidote for all the lousy women in the news or all the lousy black people in the news, and I think I found one? Like, or all the lousy Latinos in the news or Jews in the news? Like, can you think about how bad that would sound? People would be losing their fucking mind. And so, like, and this is the issue that these people have, is that What they should do is they need to, before they write an article like this, they need to replace men with women or another minority group, and then think, would this sentence offend me? And if the answer is yes, then don't put men in there either. And the problem again is that these people think that they have a moral mandate that, like, well, I should because it's true. It's true. So that's the way I see the world. That's the way it is. So if I say, like, I have, but that's true. It's just, again, if you like losing elections, this is what you should do.
A lovable goofball who is happy to cheerlead for his wife, the vice president of the U.S. Thank God for Doug Emhoff. Successful guys can support their wives and be respected. You don't have to be the quarterback to play the game at an elite level. Emhoff and his breed of dudes who are giving it their best shot
The dudes part is just
may
like,
never
oh
be
God.
as come hither to lost young men as the militant Andrew Tate models of manhood, but they are out there, and, not unlike good husbands, will appear when they are needed. From the
Not unlike good I don't even understand what that means.
outside looking in,
What?
the right promises young men a return to the good times of the glorious past. You know, the one your grandfather had. The Coca-Cola ad rose-tinted version of the past. Back when you can afford a house and support a family on one income. While the left, which historically, in my opinion, had the policies to make that happen, are instead trying to sell men a vision of future.
Yeah, sure.
And well, the future is female. A future where
Yeah, if you have all the shirts that say the future is female and having male representation, or like, you know, you need female, it's just like, again, it's like the Emperor's new clothes. Like, everybody can see this. It's so fucking obvious to any young guy that this is happening. And they're just trying to pretend like it's not real. It's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say.
you're no longer playing the game, men. You're on the sidelines being a cheerleader. Doesn't that just sound so exciting? Like, what the
You're
hell is
such a
going
good
on
boy.
inside these DNC consultant meetings? I really gotta know. Does anyone have any ideas on how to appeal to young men? And please, for the love of God, do not say we have to offer them anything or change in any way. I got it. What? Camo hats. We did that. Vasectomy bus. We did that. Have you perhaps tried nagging them? Yes, we've been doing that.
Yeah,
Say,
that's why they're voting for Trump.
you know that whole male loneliness epidemic thing? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Oh, yeah.
It's a really nice place. Have you been here before?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots. I bring everybody here.
I said I go on a lot of dates.
Wow. Wow, what a great advertisement. So what if you accidentally are dating a emotionally unstable crazy bitch? Don't you want to keep her around? No, not really.
Hey, men, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, women won't fuck you. Brilliant.
Which is like, also what's really funny about this is that there's a lot of women that voted for Trump too. It's like this whole thing where it's like, oh, women don't vote. It's not even true. It's just stupid.
Young men should know that if you vote for Trump, you're basically never going to get laid.
Okay. Here's the problem. A lot of them already aren't getting laid. So, you can't lose something you didn't have. Nothing changes,
I mean, is it incorrect?
Trump gives girls the ick. Vote Harris, get laid. I love how she blocks out the person who this is, but everybody knows who this is. Everybody knows it. I mean, is it incorrect? I didn't think so. Yeah.
Don't think so. Trump gives girls the ick. Vote Harris, get
I'm gonna be honest, I think that if I was around a girl that got like what was called the ick, I would be considering myself lucky because I just avoided a ticking time bomb. It is a emotionally unstable, you know, completely illogical thing that happens that shouldn't be taken seriously. This whole idea that like women are like these emotional babies that need to be like coddled and protected, and you need to act in certain ways so they don't get upset or like get mad. Like you're basically treating them like children. And the fact is that like there are a lot of women that don't think like this. They don't act like this. You just talk to them like normal people and everything is going to be fine. Who says that? All of these commercials are all saying this. It's just crazy.
laid. They are not beating the pretending to be progressive to get laid allegations.
Yeah.
This one. Literally just
And
endorsed.
by the way, I do think guys do that. I absolutely think that guys do that. They'll mask their political beliefs in order to get girls that are like very politically motivated or like have strong beliefs to like hook up with them. Yeah, 100% they do. Absolutely.
Woke fishing. When men
Yeah.
pretend to be more progressive on dating apps to get laid. Do not do this, by the way. Be open and honest about your opinions. And no, you cannot fix them.
Yep.
Also, pretty weird and like low-key sexist to imply like women are some prize for voting the correct way. Hey, and if all else
Yeah, that's all. It's always a good
fuck did
thing
this
whenever
tree
women
come
who
from?
are against objectification commodify their
As long as
bodies
there's a
as
fucking
a
tree
reward
there.
for doing some sort of action, like it's a payment. But you know, hey, well, totally normal.
fails, go after the Gooner vote.
Sorry, you can't do that.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
It is really funny because of how stupid it is. It is. That's perfect.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
love this ad. The one time they speak to men directly, and it's, hey men, the Republicans are gonna take away one of the only vices you use to numb the pain. So
That's
vote
right.
for us. Bleak. Just the absolute state of the world right now. Also, was that Germa? Believe it or not, this wasn't the worst of it.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
This was crazy. Like, it's actually insane how ideologically captured they are by identity politics. It's unbelievable to me that they just keep, it's like the stop hitting yourself thing. You just can't stop talking about this, fixating on it, thinking about it. It's unbelievable. Like, I actually, as I said, I thought that the woke mind virus was like a stupid term. But after seeing how these people literally cannot think of anything other than demographics and identity, I'm starting to take it a lot more seriously. Because it literally feels like it's some sort of like a spell or something like that. Like some sort of like collective delusion.
I'm a man,
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Meat. Man enough to cook my steak rare. You think I'm afraid to rebuild
Why would you be? Why is eating your steak rare being a man?
Carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I'll tell you another
I could believe that.
thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
When I first saw this, I thought it was a parody created.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know what to say. Like, why rare? Yeah, why would a guy be afraid? It's just like, oh my
by
god.
Republicans to make fun
Yeah.
of how hard the Democratic Party is trying to pander to men to get their vote. But alas,
I love women. I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
everything from them direct.
Oh my god. I can't even play out what an advertisement like this would be for minorities. Like, think about the parallels that you could do for a minority group. Oh my god. Oh my fuck. That would be so fucking bad.
Towards men has to have like this tone of irony or self-deprecation. They can't even do it sincerely. But apparently white men aren't the only demographic Kamala is struggling with.
This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already.
Has it ever occurred to you that maybe the reason why more people voted for Obama is because he was a better candidate? Has it ever occurred that maybe the reason why there's a change in voting is actually because of the people that are running? Like, I don't know. I mean, no, that's not it. Right, okay. It's my identity.
And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points.
Democrats deployed their ultimate weapon, Barack Obama. At a campaign stump for Harris on Thursday in Pittsburgh, Obama said that despite Harris raising upward of $1 billion, we have yet to see the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
That's because you were a better candidate. Do you think Barack Obama would come up and say good morning 6 times in a row and how are we doing 4 times in a row? No. He didn't talk like a fucking idiot. It's so fucking obvious. How is anybody even thinking about this? Yeah, there's no twerking about it. Says, yeah, it's... Also, people knew Kamala a lot less. Sure. Does Obama called black men misogynists? I don't know about that. I didn't watch it. I'm just saying in general, right? Like, whenever he was running for president, people liked him a lot because he represented a lot of the view. Like, he was, like, against the war in Iraq, and, like, he wanted to move the troops to come back. It didn't happen, but, like, that's what he ran on. And so, of course, people were supportive of that. Absolutely they were. That's why people are blaming the fact that Kamala is a woman. Well, I mean, even if you compare, like, her numbers to Hillary Clinton, who also was a woman, like, it's just, at a certain point, maybe instead of blaming, like, it's like they're basically blaming every single thing that they can't control, except for the one thing that they can, which is their message. It can't be our message. There has to be some sort of, like, existential reason that we can't control that we can complain about so we can displace accountability over to that.
Energy, he added, appears, quote, to be more pronounced with the brothers. You're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that, he said. Yep. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman for president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably the case. There's a lot of guys that don't want to vote for a woman for president because they're like, oh, what if she gets on her period and then she decides to nuclear bomb Canada? Absolutely. Like, I can fucking promise you that there are tons of guys out there that are like, you think I want to vote for a woman? My girlfriend is crazy. I've been married to a woman 15 years. Oh my God. Nope. That's crazy. No, but that's it. And like, what they don't understand is that, of course this is going to happen. Absolutely it's going to happen. It's the same as women that vote for her because she's a woman. Absolutely. Like, I can guarantee you that there were probably millions of women who, if all other variables were the same and Kamala Harris wasn't a woman, they probably wouldn't have gone out to vote. Absolutely, women are going to exhibit, it's called own group bias. And as far as I know, my understanding is that women have a very high ratio of doing it, much higher than men. It's like a 5-to-1 ratio.
again, their only tactic seems to be getting in a man's face and going, tisk tisk bad boy. Like a dog that just peed on the carpet. It's not 2014 anymore, Brock. Nobody cares about sexism, motherfucker. We can't afford groceries. What's crazy is, as far as I know, Kamala
I think it's actually nobody cares about sexism, and they are sexist and they're not sorry. Because I think that there absolutely are a lot of people that are genuinely sexist, and you're just, like, the shaming for having certain viewpoints has just been diminished and damaged because of so many times that people have cried wolf and there really wasn't a wolf. Like, for example, like Gamergate was about hating women. No, it wasn't. It was about game reviewers getting money and getting preferential. Must have been a good point. She could bullshit for 45 minutes, but 2 and 3 hour shows the real you. She only wanted to do 45 minutes. Elon Musk impacted it the most. Yeah, I think he probably did. That's probably true.
Trump went on, and that episode hit like 20 million views in a day. But like, can you blame her? Joe Rogan
Actually, how many views did it get? I want to see this. Okay, it's all the way down here. 46 million views just on YouTube. Man. That's a lot. Plus 100 million on X? Yeah. Oh my god.
It's just one of the most popular podcasts in the world with a majority young male audience.
Which, by the way, I do want to say that a impression on X is worth less than a view on YouTube. This is like a social media thing where like a view is an active engagement, whereas an impression is is like just that you have seen it. So that's why I didn't want to compare those two numbers. YouTube even hit it from trending. Maybe, I don't know.
It's just one of the most popular podcasts in the world with a majority young male audience. I hate it here. Every time this topic comes up, so does the topic of like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, internet algorithms, Gamergate, whatever.
There is a massive amount of right-wing radicalization that has been occurring, especially in younger male spaces. Any hobbies whatsoever, whether it's playing video games, whether it's working out.
By the way, Hassan is right about all of this.
Whether it's, I don't know, listening to like a history podcast or whatever, everything that they see is right-wing sentiment being expressed by individuals that they find charismatic.
But you can only blame internet.
So the reason why he's right might not be necessarily like what he's trying to say. I think that it's a chicken and the egg scenario where the content that's popular is right-wing because this right-wing content more accurately reflects the way that people see the world and the way that guys feel. So it's not that there's a bunch of right-wing content that's brainwashing people to be racist or to be Nazis. It's that there's a lot of guys that feel disenfranchised, and the content that's being deemed as right-wing is content that reflects what their viewpoints are. So it's like, and this is kind of the way that like content right? No, that's really how it is. Joe Rogan isn't right-wing, it's right one. Well, I think that it's definitely true that there are a lot of young guys that are extremely attracted by right-wing content. And I think Hassan is right by identifying that. It's very clearly a trend, and I think that the election proves that trend to be true. But why is that trend happening? I think the trend is not happening because content creators are right-wing. I think the trend is happening because people are right-wing and content creators are adapting to that, or content creators that have those same viewpoints are being elevated because those viewpoints are shared with a large audience. That's what's happening. Do you see kind of what I'm saying? The trend, men have always been more conservative than women. Yeah, but it's becoming more the case. Alex Jones accepted being press secretary. Let's finish this video. The dream team, baby.
Algorithms for so much for so long. This automatic assumption that any dissent from liberal mainstream thought could only be caused by manipulation or brainwashing from podcasters is honestly
it's a vicious cycle. And I think that the cycle begins with people that are looking for content that respects them. And when you create content that respects a person and tells them that their opinions and their beliefs that they have are not racist, evil, or bad, they're going to be like, yeah, I agree with you. And there's a lot of guys that feel disenfranchised, and I think that really, like, a lot of these like right-wing places do a much better job at appealing to them. That's really the truth.
A cope, in my opinion, and just an easy excuse for failing to reach anyone beyond your own subreddit. As if this all wasn't the result of like a stagnant neoliberal corpo.
Well, I honestly think that the reason why there's a lot of right-wing podcasts and stuff is because there's a lot of guys that are looking for it. The popularity of the podcasts is precipitated by the fact that there's a lot of people that feel this way. It's not that the podcasts are making them feel this way. It's that the podcasts are elevated by a lot of people that already do feel this way.
Hell world that created a vacuum that was just waiting to be filled with any kind of populism. The crazy thing is, the Democratic Party did have a candidate who successfully spoke to the demographic that they are currently trying so hard to reach.
Bernie?
His name was Bernie Sanders. And every time he did speak to that demographic or say he was
they were referred to as the Bernie Bros, and they were demonized. Yeah.
Learned that the Democratic Party didn't do enough to speak to that demographic. He was called a sexist, a racist. He was backstabbed multiple times and cheated out of winning the Democratic primaries.
Twice.
His fans were called Bernie Bros and constantly berated as sexist.
Made me finally realize misogyny in America. I wonder what this girl is writing about today. Maybe nothing. She's in therapy now.
Misogynists. His campaign was too white and too male, and this apparently was a top priority to remedy in
Yeah, we've got to fix this. Well, here's the thing. They did. How about that? They fixed the glitch.
Future campaigns. We were told he was just like Trump and, quote, appealed to angry white men. Well, who's trying to appeal to angry white men now, bitch? It's almost like Bernie's hyper-focus on working class issues.
See, this is kind of what I was saying before. I was talking about this with, like, video games and, like, woke video games, about how it doesn't matter whether you think that your message in the game should be there or not. If you put a product out to market and people don't buy the product, then you go out of business. It doesn't matter whether you were right or wrong. You're out of business. You're done. Everybody's fired. The building's foreclosed. The studio gets sold. You're finished. It doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. It matters whether what you're doing is working or not working. And these people are so attached and like so captured by their ideals and their morality that, by the way, is totally distorted. But even so, they're so captured by it that they are completely unable to see anything other than the entirely very, very narrow lens of the world that they see everything through. Does it matter if you're right or left? Yeah, sure. Concording is such a good word. Yeah, exactly. Appealing to people is what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Bread and butter issues, and populism was naturally attractive to men. No football or beer required.
Right.
I miss him. And you know what? Maybe this shift with young men has less to do with who's holding the football and more of what happens when the DNC spends all their time and energy trashing the little bit of populism in their movement. And if you ask me, handing conservatives a monopoly on anti-establishment rhetoric on a silver platter was probably their first mistake. They kind of gave up on that bread and butter New Deal.
Well, you can't really say that you're the establishment when every single person that has a mainstream media television show has the same viewpoints that you do. Like every late night talk show host is doing a monologue about how Kamala Harris should win the presidency. You can't talk about how you're not the mainstream when you have all of these A-list celebrities getting together to collectively condemn people that vote for Donald Trump. Like, it's very obvious that this is the majority opinion of people that are part of the establishment. And just because there's a large contingency of people on the internet who don't represent that doesn't mean that the establishment isn't working tooth and nail to try to fight that from happening. Look at how much they tried to demonize and like demonetize and kick Joe Rogan off of Spotify. Think about how much they're trying to stop free speech on Twitter or X. Think about how much before Elon Musk bought Twitter or X, how much they did stop free speech on there, how much they tried to control things with COVID, how much they tried to control things with election misinformation. It's just so obvious. And any normal person, and this is really what the problem is, it's that every reasonable, normal, average guy can see exactly what I'm talking about. So when you tell somebody that they can't see what's in plain sight directly in front of them, they're gonna hate you for it. This is the reason why, like, theocracies usually fall with religion. It's because eventually people are tired of living a lie. They're tired of living their life according to a set of principles that they don't feel like represents them and that they have to actively forego their critical thought. It's literally Orwell? Yeah, it is. Well... yeah, yes and no, right? But yeah. It's basically gaslighting? Yeah, I would say so. Actually, no. Yeah, no, it is Orwell. No, you're right. I don't know about that. No, remember how, like, the, like terrorism is peacekeeping and stuff like that? Like, all the different, like, phrases about how the, the main party, like, controlled all the vocabulary? I think that if you look at it through that, this is, like, with 1984. Yeah, I actually think that's a good example. Sure. The doublespeak moments? Yeah.
Stuff for identity politics, and if you deny this, you are either lying or coping. Yeah. The physical manifestation of the left has gone from the vision of the blue-collar union worker to a nagging, scolding fat woman with blue hair barging in
with a nose piercing
into everyone's spaces and culturally
coming into Warhammer and saying there's not enough women in it.
Colonizing them. Change this, change that. I don't like this, I don't like that. It's just incredible for me to witness years of anti-male rhetoric finally come back to bite the left and Democrats in the ass.
And I think that also what's going to happen, like, I remember I saw this tweet from old Nick Fuentes. He goes, "Your body, my choice, forever." And now the thing is that now they won. And once somebody wins once, they're gonna be like, well, wait a minute. Maybe we can do this and the other thing too. You know what? Where is this Project 2025 shit? Let me read this again. Cause, like, yeah, now that you think, like, let's actually think about this. He's not pro-Trump, Baldy. He's not pro-Trump, but as soon as Trump wins, he goes like, we did it. He spends all his time complaining about Trump, saying he's not going to vote for him. Finally, Trump wins, and he says, we did it. For sure.
These chickens come home to roost has just been both incredibly depressing and deliciously vindicating to me in a sick way, and I'm not sure if we should lend out a helping hand or Mufasa them off this fucking cliff. Some Democrats are nervous the party was too late to realize the problem. These Democrats worry that the party has focused too much on courting women voters, LGBTQ voters, and culturally progressive voters, alienating too many men in the process. There's a recognition that we're losing men.
Well, here's the thing. It's that if you use drag queens to promote a political message, that political message is going to lose. Drag queens are not socially accepted by, like, average populations of people. Like, if you go to Walmart and you find 5 random Walmart citizens, Walmart Americans, they're probably all going to have the same reaction to a drag queen. And I think that we all know what that reaction is.
Things we're doing around men haven't been working. I think a lot of it is a reaction to social progressivism done in the wrong way, says David Hogg. Young men, he says, feel like progressives look down on them for saying the wrong thing, even when it's a mistake. That discomfort is enough to drive them away from the Democratic Party.
Yeah, exactly. Why would somebody want to, like, it's very simple. It's like, when you're dealing with somebody who, have you guys ever been around somebody, like, this is especially true with, like, toxic girlfriends? Have you ever been around, like, a girlfriend that, like, if you say something the wrong way, it, like, immediately activates her hard mode, like, fucking, like, max difficulty, you know, attack phase? You guys ever had this happen, right? And it's like, do you understand, like, how, like, you know, you're, like, fucking, like, tiptoeing through pins and needles, like, trying to avoid accidentally triggering her or, like, getting her mad? That's exactly the reason why I think a lot of people push back against a lot of, like, quote, woke stuff. It's because they don't want to have to walk on eggshells around people all the time. They don't want to have to take their words and filter them through 5 or 10 different, oh my god, what if people think that I'm saying this about this racial group of people or about women? It's basically, there's been a massive push, and this happens on social media all the time. There's been a massive push of taking what a person says and then extrapolating it to, like, its worst possible implication, and then treating that person as if the implication was their intent. It's not about trying to understand the other person's perspective. It's about using that other person as a stepping stool so you can stand on top of them and say, look at me, I'm more virtuous than they are. And so I think that's been a huge reason why a lot of people have pushed back against, like, you know, what you'd call, like, progressive, like, woke, like, activist stuff. It's because if somebody calls something else gay, because they used to call it that for, like, 30 years as, like, kids, especially in, like, the 2000s and the 90s, that doesn't mean that they hate gay people. It doesn't mean that they're, like, homophobic or anything. And, like, yeah, maybe it's not, like, a great thing to say, but when you treat a person that says that as if they're actually a homophobe or a bad person, you know what it makes them? It makes them a homophobe or a bad person. And fundamentally, people just don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be told what to think. They don't want to have to walk on eggshells around people that are, in a lot of cases, I think, mentally unstable. And they don't want to deal with it at all. And so it's an unfortunate colloquialism. Well, I mean, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, whatever term that, like, there are a lot of terms like this. Like, you could use, like, there's terms like, I didn't know tar baby was one that can be used as, like, as a derogatory term towards, like, black people. Like, growing up, like, this was, like, just a story, and, like, I learned, I used the term one time, people got really mad at me for it. And, like, for me, like, I'm involved with controversies like this all the time. So I don't really care a lot about it, but, like, I know that there are certain streamers that don't even want to have Starbucks on their screen because they're afraid that people might get mad because Starbucks is seen as being promoting and favorable towards Israel. You see what I'm saying? And so people don't want to live with, like, that level of, like, restrictive behavior. Is that based? Yeah, they are. And I think retarded is another one. Like, people that use the word retarded don't want to be told not to use that word. And I think that if you want to take a step back, people don't want to be told what words they can and can't use, period. And you see this on Twitter. As soon as Elon Musk took over, I bet the usage of the N-word went up by 1,000%. No, that's not true. Probably 10,000%. Yeah, because, or the F word. I see, oh my God, people are really trying to bring back the homophobic F word. They're trying to bring it back in a big way. I can't even read Twitter without seeing it all the time. And you want to know why? It's because people don't want to be told what they can and can't say. They don't want to be given a list of words by some loser and be told, no, if you say this, we're going to try to systematically destroy your life. because you know what happens? Whenever you tell that to enough people, they decide to systematically destroy your life instead. And that's exactly what happened with the election. That's exactly what happened. It's because if you try to antagonize people and tell them what to do, eventually they'll turn around and they'll start telling you what to do. Basin, I'll do it again. Yeah, and it's going to keep... This is what my opinion is. I think that we are going to move towards an overcorrection. And I think that conservative viewpoints and conservative, like, and I'm talking about like extreme conservative viewpoints, will continue to get more and more traction as an overcorrection because people are tired of like being told what to do or what to think. Yeah, pendulum swings back. Yeah, and I think that people are swinging back. And the thing is, what's different about it this time, I think, is that people know it. They know it, and they're doing it because they're like, you made us live with our mind in a cage. Now it's time to put you in a cage. And by the way, Trump said on day one, a lot of people probably might be going in cages. The mass deportations. Done. That's it. And so I feel like and people like to, you know, like they like to fight against this and like to say like, oh, well, this is the wrong thing to do. Well, does it really matter who's right or wrong when you're the one that's in the cage? Not anymore. That's it.
They don't necessarily agree with Republicans. They would rather be around someone they don't agree with who doesn't judge them than somebody they do agree with who judges them constantly.
He's totally fucking right about this, by the way. 100% right about this.
Men aren't moving right because they are choosing fascism. They are moving right because the left made them the villains in their anime fan fiction. It's not that they all like Trump. It's that they all hate you, and no amount of camo hats is going to fix that. But do not get it twisted. I do not in any way, shape, or form believe the GOP is going to help men. I don't think they're going to help anyone. Except maybe Israel. Do I think all of the left...
I agree with that, too. Like, you know, somebody says, like, oh, well, you can't get abortions anymore. It's like, oh, fuck, when I have to pay child support. Like, that's the first thing I think about. Oh, fuck. What, do you gotta get a coat hanger now? Jesus.
Just some hyper woke fat lady wagging her finger in men's faces like no fun allowed. No, if I did, I wouldn't call myself left.
And this has happened a lot. Like, I've seen this happen constantly where it's like women that are, I don't even really know if it's women. I don't want to categorize this as all as women. But I think that it's like people that are like complaining. They're like, I'm really bothered by how much people are using the word retarded, or I'm really bothered by how much people think this joke is funny. Like, people shouldn't be joking about this. This isn't funny. You shouldn't be allowed to. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Don't tell me what to say. Just period. Whatever you're gonna say, I don't care. It doesn't matter what it is, what your problem is. It doesn't matter.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm a registered independent. But the Democratic Party is historically better on policy, and despite their messaging, even when it comes to helping men. Healthcare, higher wages, paid family leave, labor protection, Social Security, things Republicans have always fought against. And I think that's why this is extra frustrating to me. I don't say this with any love for the Republican Party. In fact, if anything, I say it with love for the Democratic Party. I fucking hate them, but deep down, I wish they could be better. I'm doing this for your own good.
Yep. This hurts me more than it hurts you.
Go sleep, I love you, go sleep. I just hope that whether Kamala wins or loses, the party can take a step back and evaluate what they're doing wrong. Because
they're taking a step back to have a support group for each other and talk about how much they want to kill Donald Trump, how much they want to kill themselves, how much they want to kill their family members, and how much they want to kill their unborn babies.
I don't think the Democratic Party should be the party for the gays and women. I think the Democratic Party should be the party for everyone, including angry white men. So in your opinion, what could the Democratic Party do to win back young men? Can they do anything? Are they fucked? To me, it might take decades of work to fix the culture, the rot that...
I don't think that they can do it. I think that they're so captured by identity politics and like the logic and philosophy of like intersectionalism, that they cannot undo this. Yeah, stop identity politics. Like, I feel like basically the like Donald Trump brand of like Republican politics will exist for the next 20 years. Like, after Trump like finishes his term, it's not like, oh, everything's gonna go back to how it was with Mitt Romney. There's gonna be, like, I bet that there's probably going to be somebody who is even more, like, they're probably gonna say, you thought it was good now, you thought Project 2025 was bad, wait for Project 2028, you know?
Infest the progressive ideology. It is going to take a lot of
That's
work
what's
to
gonna
fix,
happen.
but I think it's worth it, not just for the Democratic Party's sake, but just for society's sake. If you like this video, please consider donating to my Patreon, link down below.
This
It
was
really
a
helps
really
the
good
channel
video.
out, and I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for 2 million subscribers.
That's a lot of people.
And I will see you guys with a new video soon. Bye!
Yep. Yeah, it's a really good video. Give it a like. This is so good. Like, I wish there were more people that talked about this kind of stuff, because I feel like there's a lot of this stuff that needs to be talked about. Such a great video. Yeah, this was so good. I love it.
Let me be in charge of the DNC for a day, Nancy Pelosi. I am very normal and can be trusted with that amount of power.
Speaking of that,
population, we don't have the immigrants are in Trump.
Hello, everyone, and
speaking of that, there have been reports that we might have a new press secretary for the Donald Trump presidency. There's no way, right? I don't think there's no way. People said it's happening. I think it's not true. I'll link you guys the video again. Give it a like, and we will look at it. Man. This seems like bullshit. Where the fuck did it... It's not real? Where is it? It's not on his Twitter. I formally accept the offer to serve as President Trump's new press secretary. I'm gonna be honest. I think you should do it. I do. I think Trump should do it. Like, I think Department of Health would be RFK. Department of Education would be Kid Rock. The press secretary could be Alex Jones. Yeah, have Elon do like an audit of like, you know, the whole federal shit. Let's see, who else would we have? Oh man, actually bad? Yeah, no, this is, I'm telling you guys. Hulk Hogan. I think that like, if we're gonna get a meme presidency, I want to see it go all the way. The dream team. Yep. Already I better go. Yep, Vivek's chief of staff. Exactly. Find a job. What could Aiden Ross do? Oh, man. Hulk Hogan. Bro, Hulk Hogan, put Hulk Hogan in charge of the border. Man. Oh, man. Yeah, put Ron Paul in charge of the Federal Reserve. That sounds like a really good idea. There you go. Dana White as the Department of Justice. Yep. Literal comedy. The dog, oh my god. Dog the bounty hunter for the border. Oh my god. Oh my too bad. Yeah, this is me. Oh god. That would go hard, not gonna lie. I'm telling you guys, like, I think that we have a chance to make a meme dynasty for something that is... I think this is going to go completely out of control. When are you putting on Joe Rogan? I don't know. Maybe he could be like Department of Communication. Yeah, this is why you should run. Yeah, just like make a entire meme cabinet, because like Trump tried to like bring in like a lot of establishment people last time, and I feel like it didn't really work out that well. So like, why don't you just bring in a bunch of like rappers? Like, where's like, how about like have Ice Cube involved? Maybe Ice Cube can run ICE. You know, like the immigration people that like, you know, protect the border. I feel like that, there you go, 50 Cent, yeah. Why not have 50 Cent be involved? Waka Flocka Flame, absolutely. Yep. Why not? Diddy is department, okay, all right, that's enough. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, God, man. Get Snoop Dogg? Oh, fuck. Waka Flocka is actually a really well-established person now. He's actually pretty cool. Really? I just remember listening to Hard in the Paint from back in the day. Like, that was over 10 fucking years ago, man. Yeah, put me in charge of the FDA? Fuck that. Like, yeah, I'm not about that at all, okay? Do you think Donald should do something against the rising misandry in the U.S.? No. I think this is a cultural problem, and the only thing that he should do is he should make it... I think that it should be illegal to provide any sort of an advantage to a group of people based off of an immutable characteristic, like an identity characteristic. So, like, if you're gay or not, if you're trans or not, like, whatever your gender identity is, whatever your sexuality is, whatever your racial identity is, I think that anything that provides a privilege or benefit to a person of that group should be categorically against the law. Just period. Yeah, kill DEI. Well, well, I don't know about DEI, right? I mean, there's like a lot of like versions of that I think could be okay, but like in general. Disability. I think that disability makes sense, and I think that giving people privileges based off of disabilities would be okay, but those types of disabilities probably would be like a very small list. Yeah, like for example, you know, somebody has a wheelchair or something like that. Yeah, sure, I think that's fine. It's a totally different thing. Like basically, a person with a disability needs to be accommodated in a different way that is unique to that disability, but a person that's like white or black is the same. A person that's a man or a woman is basically the same. It's just that whether they can do the job or not. Can't really compare disabled to be white and black. Yeah, exactly. And so that's really the way that I see it, is that I think that he should definitely make all of that illegal. Anytime that a person gets a privilege based off of something that they didn't do, then it's a bad thing. It's literally that simple. I mean, a female-only space is advantageous for women in some cases. We're not banning female-only gyms. Yeah, I agree. I think that there's definitely some nuance to it in that regard, and I think that's a good point. Yeah, you're right about that. Sure. That's common sense. Yeah, I feel like that's common sense. Jobs aren't spaces, yeah. What about trying to make America's physicians more closely resemble the population? For example, supporting black doctors can help their communities as opposed to having a disproportionately high number of white male doctors. I reject the idea that making sure that a population of a type of job is reflected in the population is actually something that needs to happen. And I think that it's racist to imply that a white person would be able to like not understand, or a black person would be able to better understand the health problems of another black person. I think this is an insane way of looking at things, and I don't think that it's true. And I also think that, and here's the reason why I know that it's not true. It's because people are only advocating for this in positions that are advantageous. People aren't asking for gender parity in garbage men, right? They're asking for gender parity in jobs that are high status and high paying jobs. So it's actually not for any sort of like, if having gender and race parity is something that actually matters, it would be something that would be applied to all groups of people in all job categories. But it's not. It's only being applied to job types that are high status, high paying. And what that means is that it's actually not a systemic problem that has to do with what the actual job is. It has to do with what the money and the status is behind the job, and it's a money and a status play instead. So no, I don't agree with that at all. I completely reject the premise that that should be a goal. Quality of opportunity, not outcome. Yeah. No, I'll read a few more of these. It implies that a black person can understand how health concerns feel, which is patently false. Yeah. It's a class issue, not a race issue. Yeah, that's true too. They want to be CEO but not be a garbage man. Yeah. Idiocracy is becoming true prophecy. Well, no, it's just that like people look at everything through identity politics, and that's the reason why it happens. So yeah, you're just wrong, no? That's fine if you think that I'm wrong, but and so this is, so I'll read this comment. You can know people are prejudiced. Yeah, so the fact that people are prejudiced doesn't mean that you should try to legislate prejudice into the law. Like, I know that people are prejudiced, but like the solution to that is not more prejudice. That's not the way it works. If I'm wrong, why does it feel right? Yeah. It's called relatability. I think that you're going to have a lot of different factors of relatability that like matter. I think that some of that is like race-based or gender-based, etc. But overall, I think that the idea that you know, you have to have like jobs and like people in a certain type of career that reflect the population there, I don't really think that that's a I don't think that that should be a goal in the first place. That should not be the point. The point should be to how to make this job most effectively work. I'm curious how you feel about accommodations for non-obvious disabilities. MS, scoliosis. I don't know. I think it probably is a case-by-case basis. I don't think you can, with something like that, you can never just go and paint with such a broad brush that it applies to every single thing that could possibly happen. I don't think it's possible to do that at all. You see Roach Ranch is at nearly 15 million members. 15,000 members? Really? Holy fuck. Let me see. Yeah, it's at 14.2 thousand. I guess it already updated earlier. Oh my god. Yep, we almost have 15 million roaches. I'll link you guys the group here too. Yeah, there you go. I think the person best at the job should get it. Yeah, exactly. Dude's advocating for segregated care and probably doesn't even realize it. Yeah, I think it's a huge problem too. Oops. A little bit of a hiccup there. The problem is that you assume other people will judge others on a basis that's purely logical, but that's simply untrue. These measures are an attempt to nullify or mitigate natural biases that are present with all individuals. Yeah, but they don't work. So like when you apply something, if you apply a one-size-fits-all, like basically what you're saying is you're implying that there's a bias that exists and that you're trying to measure what that bias is and then counteract against it. But the problem is that that measurement source is that it's very much circumstantial, right? Number one, it's circumstantial. And number two, I think you're just going to make it worse. It's brain rot? Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Garbage man doesn't have an effect on a community like a doctor does. Okay, what about... let's assume that you're right. I don't agree with you, but let's assume that you're right. What about like social workers? What about people that do any sort of job that is interfacing with the public that is not a high status job? I think that one thing that's very common, and you see this all the time, is that every single time people are advocating for some sort of like racial or gender parity, it's always with a job that is high status and or high paying. Every single time. It's because it has nothing to do with the idea of parity, and it has everything to do with the idea of power and money. That's why. Every single time. It's the same thing. Yeah, that's why it's happening. Encouragement has bigger impact? Yeah. If black people need a black doctor, why don't white communities need a white doctor? This road is not going to end with more jobs for minorities. Yeah, I think that's a pretty bad... I feel like we tried that. Yeah, that didn't really go very well. It's not an easy argument. Yeah, for sure. No, doctors are different. No, absolutely not. If you're giving a privilege to a person and a person gets hired for a job for a reason that's not their own merit or their own skill, then you're doing something that's called discrimination. It's extremely simple. Every normal person knows this. Every normal person sees this. And so that's why whenever this happens, it becomes immediately evident to so many people. It becomes plain and simple. Yeah. It's all the time. Yep. Gonna play a game set? Yeah, I was gonna play the Atomic Picnic. The release of it finally came out. We delayed it for like a year, but yes, it's finally been released. But before I do that, I'll answer a few more questions and go through some more of this stuff and then talk about some other stuff. But yeah, it never happens when a white man gets a job over a person of color. Well, yeah, but that's bad, right? So like, when a white person gets a job over a black person because of the fact they're white, that's bad. We all agree that that's bad. What I'm saying is that the opposite is also bad. Yeah, nobody's defending that. Nobody thinks that's good. Yeah, meritocracy should be the goal. Yeah, exactly. That's the meritocracy. Yep. If you don't have that, you have problems. When will I play Genshin? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Soon. What about to correct an imbalance? Well, correcting an imbalance implies that the imbalance needs to be corrected. Why does the imbalance need to be corrected? Like, and also, is this an imbalance that's occurring naturally? Or is this an imbalance that's occurring because different groups of people have different types of interests, right? Like, for example, like, there's jobs that a lot of women like, and there's jobs that men like, because men and women are different. Multi-tip answer? Yeah, there is no imbalance, exactly. Creating an imbalance the other way around doesn't correct it either? Yeah. Yeah, if imbalance is the problem, then why are you making another imbalance? Let me see here. So when the military promotes, they take your information and they scrub any identifying information out, and even donations to certain charity, then paperwork sent to a board that promotees that whoever knows who's who, not even after the fact. Yeah, I don't know how the military does things. I have no idea. But I'm saying, like, that's what I think the best ideal is. That's what I would believe. That's what I think is the best idea. Let me see if I can look at any more of these. Bro, women doesn't know how women yearn. Hasman doesn't know how women yearn for the mines. Yeah, I thought that was kids. The concept that you need to hire to rebalance something is just performative bullshit. Well, it's not performative bullshit. It's something that only happens when it's a. It's something that only happens when it's a high status, high value job. That's the reason. That's how you know it's bullshit. Like, oh wow, the only jobs that need rebalancing just happen to be all the jobs that are high status, high paying. Wow, how fucking convenient is that? What are the odds? Crazy. If 40 monkeys escaped a research facility in South Carolina. Yeah, I saw that. Exactly. Rebalance solution. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. And let me go ahead and look at a few more of these, and then I want to go ahead and watch this. Just a second. Okay, there we go. Joined late. We talked about affirmative action. I thought affirmative action's dead. I thought they killed affirmative action, didn't they? Like, it's done? I'm pretty sure it is. So, like, that's finished. It's dead? Yeah, that's what I thought. At least in a lot of cases it was. Where's our women sewer workers? Yeah, exactly, right? And watching a Warcraft Live thing when it happens, I don't even know what that is. After apartheid in South Africa, they used positive discrimination to get more black Africans in the government. What do you think about that? I don't know. Like, I mean, the way that another country solves its problems isn't really my business, and it's not really my understanding. Like, it's the same thing I said before, like with that thing with Germany, is that I can look at it from an outsider's perspective and be like, yeah, this is kind of like what we're having here, but I can't really deeply understand and fully like comprehend what a German person's problems actually are. Right? I can't actually see it and be like, yeah, I can only give commentary, right? And so like, what does South Africa do? Like, what should they do? I really don't know. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a bad idea, but also like there was like some crazy shit that happened there, so I'm not even really sure. Let's see here. All right. Try this shit out. We'll play it. Go check in front of Firelands, right, bro? Like I'm gonna be honest. Like I've been totally checked out of WoW. Like I'm gonna just be real, completely checked out. And the reason why, so I'll tell you guys the reason why I've been checked out is like, I just don't really feel like the game is really that. I don't think it's that interesting right now, and I just haven't really felt like a desire to do shit. Okay, all right, give me a minute. Let me turn this down a little bit. Okay. And it has been for years. I mean, I'm just kind of like talking about like what my opinion of it is, and so too many years of it. Anniversary event was mid anyways. Well, it's not that I don't like WoW, it's just that I don't feel like WoW has... I think that I've basically been playing the same patch, every single patch, since Legion. And I think every single time that like a new, what do you call it? A new patch or a new expansion comes out, it's pretty much the exact same content, but just with bigger numbers or different systems. It became kind of boring. Yeah, it did. And I think that's a huge problem. So no more new ideas. Thoughts on Season of Discovery? I mean, I like Season of Discovery. I think Season of Discovery is cool, but it's just not something that I would like really go super hard on. And also, like, another big reason why I stopped playing a lot of MMOs, like, this is like just really the truth, is that, can I kill myself in here? Yeah, I can. The big reason why I stopped playing a lot of MMOs is that I don't think that MMOs and a lot of... Wait, they let you do this? Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't think they planned for that. And so yeah, I'm kind of burned out of MMOs, burned out on MMOs. I think the reason why is that I think that MMOs in a general sense don't respect your time. And I remember thinking about this, like I came to this realization when I was playing Elden Ring, and I was like farming something, and I was realizing that like, okay, farming this might take me an entire hour. And then I think about how many things in like other games that take hundreds of hours in order to like farm, or like dozens of hours to farm. And I'm like, why does it take that long in order to get this item or to complete this task? There's really no reason for it in a lot of cases. It's just artificial time padding that just wastes your time. And I think that for having fun, yeah. And so like And like, it's not that I don't want to play Ashes of Creation, because we're going to play that too, but to make it meaningful, but like, to me, it doesn't feel meaningful anymore. Like, it used to feel meaningful, but maybe because I've done it a lot of times, I just haven't really, like, I don't get that meaning out of it anymore. To me, when I see it, I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, I'm wasting so much time. This is crazy. Feels like a chore? Yeah, I think so. Fuck, dude, you just ruined Satisfactory for me? Yeah, and it's weird because, like, as soon as you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's like after I play games, like, for example, like playing Metaphor or something like that, if I want to farm for something in that game, I can easily just go achieve that goal. And there's no real, like, there's a system that's attached to the goal, but it's not drawn out in a way that is just boring and unfun. It's like a process of performance. You feel that way about rare monster drops in Monster Hunter? No, because they're not rare. If I, like, think about, okay, so I'll give you a couple of examples. Like, let's look at Shavara Ishvalda Tinderplate, which is like one of the rarest items, and this is outside of decorations. Decorations are like way too fucking grindy and they're garbage. But other than that, besides that, a lot of the decorations, a lot of the other items are super easy to get. Like with First Descendant, they're super easy to get. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal at all. Decos are the end game. Yeah, but I don't really see that as being like, let me see what the fuck. Okay, there we go. All right, we're good. Yeah, I've never seen this thing here too, because I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, they apparently made like a tutorial just to get people to like understand the game. So like, you want to know what's really sad is the fact that the reason why they added the tutorial is that like they were talking and they were like, yeah, we've seen Asmon play video games, and he's like, he plays video games like an idiot, and like because he plays like an idiot, like he can't figure it out. Uh-oh. 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 Uh-oh, I can't figure it out. There we go. Okay. See? That's exactly why. Got it. I'm playing like a gaming journalist? Well, I usually... So the reason why I play like that, here's really the truth, is because... Okay, I picked that up. Okay, good. Fast reload. Sound wave deals damage. Okay, easy. So all these. The reason why is because I'm just that kind of person, right? I mean, I play video games on autopilot pretty much all the time. Like 99% of the time when I'm playing a game, I am totally mentally AFK. Like I actually play video games so I can go mentally AFK. So I don't have to like think or like plan anything. I can just play the game and not give a fuck. Okay, I'm a slow learner. Well, I think it's also like not... It's like, even to an extent, I'm not even a slow learner. I'm just a lazy learner. I don't really give a fuck one way or another. Okay, what do I have to do here? I guess I have to shoot all these. Okay, easy enough. Oh, I have to throw this. Got him. All right, not even trying, bro. Yeah, basically. Being mentally AFK is amazing. It's basically what I do. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me pick this up. Alrighty. Yeah, they've added a bunch of new shit. Holy fuck. Okay. Writing? Oh, I thought I was supposed to. Okay. Alright, we're gonna get started. Points for Terraria? Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's bad for your brain to be at 100% all the time. Yeah, you play like a mobile game ad? I do, because I am totally 100% checked out. Like, I'm not thinking about the game. I'm thinking about something that's like completely separate. I'm never really paying attention. What's the release date? The game, we finally released the game. Okay, we're gonna go with... I'm gonna go with the reload, obviously. Okay, let me kill these. Yeah, I feel like any AoE damage is like insane. Fuck. Okay. Gotcha, bitch. Okay. I think maybe I just keep going with more of this. Yeah, it seems like a good idea. Okay. Blow them up. Easy enough. There we go. So for a really good story, do you read or go AFK? If it's a really good story game, I try to pay attention, but I also know that I'll lose interest kind of fast in a lot of cases. Okay, wow, I'm just getting the same exact one. Okay, that's really good. Okay, let me go over to here. It says early access. Yeah, I didn't know that. I have no idea. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, got him. Got him. Easy, easy. Okay, now what? I killed 20 enemies. Okay, I'm done. Perfect. Is this like Fortnite? Yeah, it's like Fortnite. Because like you run around and you shoot things. It's just like Fortnite. Do you still mentally AFK when playing Elden Ring? Absolutely. I am AFK while playing Elden Ring. Bro, I'm not even in the same universe. Okay, we got it. Okay, and let's see here. All right, we are here, a little base here. Yeah, they had to add this character. Yeah. Man. All right. It's like Fortnite and Torcast. I don't know about that. I haven't really played, as I said, like, I haven't played WoW in a long time, honestly. Okay, and can I upgrade at all? No, I can't. Okay, I've got to go do one. Are all WoW players mentally AFK while grinding? Yeah, I think that grinding... Okay, we'll do first stage. There we go. All right. Is this testable? No. Okay, Device activation spawns bullet. I feel like this one's better, right? Yeah, because I can just hold down the button. Yeah, because I'm going to do that anyway, right? Yeah, it seems like an easy decision. Grind over 4K hours of BDO. Well, a lot of people grind in games. Here's the thing. A lot of people grind in games as like a... It's like a zen activity. Where it's like, yeah, I'm going to grind in this game and just chill out and relax. Okay,
oh,
what's
that's what meriting's all about.
Yeah, we're obviously going to go with this. This is insane. Okay,
sit back, relax, turn off your brain, and pull those mobs.
Oh, okay, no, I don't want to go with that. It seems actually very OP, but I'm not going to go with it. Easy. Okay. That's why Minecraft is super zen. Yeah, like, do you guys do the same thing where, like, you get, like, super invested into a game and, like, you just completely, like, turn off your brain, basically? And it's like you're kind of just, like, you're not really even paying attention to what's going on. You're just, like, kind of in this flow state. Because, like, for me, I actually, like, I'm the kind of person, like, I'll be, like, thinking a lot. And it'll be really nice for me to be able to just kind of, like, totally, like, turn off and just totally chill out. Okay, recovering health and defeat enemy. Oh, that's fucking insane. Okay, yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, any sort of, like, health return is fucking nuts. Okay, kill this too. Bitch.
Well, I guess we're done.
Bitch. Alright, let's go around and kill
That's how
some
she
stuff.
goes. But remember, as always, you can't say fuck you to your friends. Who can you say fuck you to? Fuck you.